I wasn't feeling it. I clearly was not feeling my son and his wife. I don't choose for them to get a divorce.
I ain't trying to like bring no bad energy, but
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We're talking to you guys about obviously Scrappy and Mama D, but I think there's a greater conversation around this situation. Sometimes you need to let your mom know this ain't your jurisdiction. Get the step in. Okay. Now, of course, don't say like that because you might get a slap. With all due respect, but there is a time where, especially in these type of relations that I see sometimes with mothers who oftentimes end up being single mothers. And I'm not even talking about the specific type of single mother where, because Mama D's been through things, okay? She's been through some things that have made her very tough, made her very strong, have made her, a fighter, which are great qualities. But when they now that control that she tries to exert over her environment to make sure that she's safe, that over exertion of control has started to seep into, not even to start, has been seeping into Scrappy and his relationships as well. And the difficulty here is that separating yourself from your mother is so important. There's a lot of mothers out there that will ruin your marriage simply because they feel they've become your surrogate mother, they've become your surrogate husband, and they are playing a completely different role to what they should be playing. Mama D should be a mother and not a wife to her son. And what I mean by that is not that she's babying, but rather that she's inferring and interfering and opening her opinion far too much into Scrappy's life, and has been for the last however long I've seen Scrappy from the beginning when I watched Love and Hip Hop back in the day. So, and she's still doing it to this day, and to the point where she's not even taking accountability for how her actions have impacted her son. She still feels like the victim. That should let you know the kind of boundaries you need to put in place here. Scrappy has done it this season. We saw him beautifully speak to his mum about how he felt about his mum, and she was still kind of partly dismissive. I'm going to be honest with you. To get it through to her head, you may need to create some really strong boundaries. And every partner you have will suffer because your mother is interfering herself as if she's a surrogate wife to her son instead of playing a mother's role. And your mother will consistently play the victim when you try to challenge her because she sees herself as a victim. She sees herself as someone, you owe me this because I've done this for you. She has an entitled mindset, and that will play about in the relationship. Now, of course, she has supported him. She has loved him. She has protected him. She's kept him safe financially and emotionally. And she's tried her best with the circumstances at hand. But sis, I'm going to need you to take several seats. And Scrappy needs to let her know to take several seats. That's what the conversation was previously. And as you can see by listening to her talk about the situation, does it sound like somebody who's willing to step aside and be like, you know what, I made some mistakes, I know my son I need some time away from him? No, she's rather, I didn't like her, and they, basically they need to come apologize to me and everything. And I'm like, yo, this is your son. And Shay mentions it one or two times through the like, that's your son. Like, you are hearing yourself, right? That's your son. But she doesn't hear that because Mama D's concerned about how she feels and how she wasn't taken care of and how she wasn't protected. And that's not your son's job. That's your job now. Your job is to manage yourself. It's unfortunate you didn't have a situation like that. And I think that Scrappy even said those words. But as a man, for Scrappy, if he wants his marriages to work, he going to have to put that boundary in place ASAP. He going to have to let his mama know, hey, this is my wife, and you don't get to interfere in our space. You want to have a conversation, that's great, but you don't get to interfere in my space with my wife. That's me and her. What you will do is put some respect on her name and mine, right? And if you can't do that, we're gonna have to put some really good boundaries in place. Maybe I have to only see you. I have to reduce the amount of time I see you. Maybe I have to reduce the amount of time you're in my space and my airwaves in order to protect myself and protect my family, because my family comes first. Because a mother shall leave his mother and father's home and cleave to his wife. So it's about my family before you. I appreciate what you've done for me, but I got to let you know you can't keep interfering the way you do. And that's a boundary that has to be put in place. If you don't, your marriage won't work when you have a mother who believes that she can infer and interfere whenever. And it's absolutely the responsibility of the person whose mother it is or father it is, even figure, right? Absolutely their responsibility.
get out of character, you know what I'm saying, and embarrass me. And we actually stopped talking because my mama blocked me from even on her phone.
I've unblocked him.
You did.
I unblocked him. Yeah,
I told you.
Mama D blocking her son. Some of you are dealing with mothers like this specifically. There are fathers there too, but when some of you boys are dealing with mothers like this, before your marriage also gets ruined, right? Before your marriage goes down the dump, before your relationships go down the dump, set effective boundaries. Your mother needs not to be involved with your relationship as your grown ass age, right? She need not be involved. Now, of course, she may have an opinion, but you also have the right to say, I don't want to hear your opinion, right? Because it's my relationship and I'll do as I need to do. You don't get the right to just say how your opinion and impute it onto me, right? Our relationship is not based upon my wife; it's based upon me and you, and me being a son of you. So yes, you need to set effective boundaries, and when you don't, you will get these scenarios where people just begin to seep in the cracks and treat you as they want to be, as they want, and you don't want that situation. What you want is to be in a place where your mother can respect the wife that you have, will encourage her, can speak words of wisdom and life. And if she can't do that, she needs to vacate for a while. And if she can't do it ever, there needs to be a firm distance kept between the two, because it will ruin your marriage. Your partner will always feel undervalued. Your partner will always feel like they're being attacked. Your partner will never feel safe. And do you know how it feels to be on the edge every single time somebody comes around? It's not cute. You don't want to be in that space. Protect your family, protect your marriage, and protect your relationships out there. Put your mama not in place, but put your mama aside and say, hey, this is not your position. I appreciate all you've done for me, but I've got to look after my family. Like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification uploads.